Right, everybody, so today we are looking at Fabien Hurzeler, set to become the new manager of Brighton, and at the same time will become the youngest ever Premier League manager, I think at the age of 31. Currently at St. Pauli in Germany, just won the didn't do German at school. Just won the Bundesliga 2 with St. Pauli as well. Playing a 3-4-3, however, it's not what you would normally expect from a 3-4-3. Let's go and check it out. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel because of that Twitter thread that I did at the weekend, all about Hurzeler, welcome. The tactic, I'm going to go through everything. We're going to actually go through it more with Brighton, but I just thought I'd give you the base of the current playing squad and then how that looks at Brighton. Maybe a potential couple of areas where Brighton will need to strengthen in the summer. And we'll go through all the player roles, team instructions, player instructions, so you can copy it in to your FM save yourself. It has done pretty well for me so far at Brighton. If not, and you want to just have the download, fire away straight into FM Save, and you want to support the channel, you can check out the Patreon, link down in the description to that. You get the tactic download and all the previous and future downloads. Currently doing about two tactic videos a week on the channel, so they're all on the Patreon for you to download right now. So he rocks a 3-4-3, and I wanted to know now. Both Jackson Irvine, ex-Hull City, Australian international, and Hurzeler have both had tremendous seasons with the team. Hurzeler's had like nearly, I think even, 30 goal contributions, I think. Playing as this, so when you imagine a 3-4-3, you imagine sort of something like this. Now, this is the 5-2-2-1 version of the sort of like the shape, and as you can see, FM has the double pivot of Irvine and Hurzeler as sort of like defensive midfielders, because you're going to have the wing backs bombing on, and you're also going to have the two wider players and the striker. You normally get sometimes one, or if not both of them, acting as a bit more of a box-to-box midfielder, maybe a volante, but often ball winners, deep line midfielders. If you think, you know, Conte has had players such as at Chelsea, had players like Matic and Kante, and Fabregas played in like a deep line playmaker role. Xabi Alonso this season has had Granit Xhaka and Palacios, very much sort of like defensive midfielders who can, I suppose in Palacios' case, can get about the pitch much. However, when I was checking these guys out, because I was very intrigued I'm always intrigued to see how the double pivot works, how many touches of the ball they have, what kind of passes, what kind of shit am I seeing from their numbers to make me then choose a role from them. The heat maps are very good as well. And obviously, in the Twitter thread, I did put that the amount of touches these two were not having, bearing in mind that St. Pauli have a really good field tilt, really good possession, and really good total number of passes. So they're dominant, they're possession dominant. And with that, you'd expect any team that's possession dominant, you'd expect their midfielders, you know, I think Barcelona, you think Busquets, Frankie de Jong, Xavi, all of them, City, Rodri, Kovacic, Silva, all these players in the middle of midfield to have lots of touches of the football. And that's not the case. They ranked extremely low. Irvine actually ranked 24th and Hurzeler 31st for open play passes in the division. And that was compared to sort of like DMs and CMs. So for a team with both players playing majority of the games, and them for only ranked 24th and 31st, he's really low. Not even to have one of them. We said sometimes you'll get that deep line playmaker, and one might be more of a volante. However, these two do not really get involved in build-up. A really unique situation there with a 3-4-3. And then I decided to look, well, what are they actually doing? And as you can see from the stat pack, non-penalty goals, Irvine 5th and Hurzeler 2nd. He also scored, I think, a total of 17. 3 of them pens, I think a couple of free kicks. 12 assists for him, so 29 goal contributions, with Irvine 6 and 9 assists. And as you can see from their heat map, Hurzeler very much sticking out on that left-hand side. A little bit in build-up, which we do see with Pascal Gross right at the end when I show you some clips. But really moving into that sort of like wide half space. Jackson Irvine a little bit different, a little bit more narrower, as you can see, but still working sort of like the right side of midfield. Little bit more helping in build-up, which I've got a nice clip of Baleba as well, the volante that I'm using at Brighton. And then, obviously, as you can see, an absolute box threat. I think he's obviously 6'2", really dominant in the air, really good from set pieces as well at St. Pauli. So something that we need to use at Brighton. So that then kind of gives us what these two are actually doing. As the ball's in deep progression, they're getting involved a little bit, but ideally they want to be up here. You'll often have them a little bit higher up in the pitch. And what we actually have now is a libero. So this is obviously a huge gap and a big problem. But they're actually using the middle centre-back as a libero. And he's stopping in. And as you can see by some of these passing networks, you can see that his general position from where he's passing and moving the ball from is ahead of the two centre-backs. So they end up looking a little bit like this in possession, with the wing-backs being more of support options. Obviously, they're playing Hurzeler and Sad on the right and left, very much attacking sort of like wide players. So they're just doing a little bit of a support option and allowing Hurzeler to drive into these areas, create in here. They've got decent final third numbers as well, so they're really wanting to get into that final third. And obviously that Valente starts deeper, helps out a little bit, and then when the opportunity goes, they get involved and gets into the penalty area. So that's how they're generally working. Obviously we've got the DLF as well, who, if we just bring these boys back a little bit, the DLF, Egerton, XFM, sort of like 17, 18 wonder kid, I think, dropping in, supporting the play. If you look at his heat map, very much dropping off and being roaming to a certain extent. And then what that does allow is space in behind for Sad and Hurzeler to then create maybe in behind, passes in behind. We do have two ball-playing defenders. If you just look at Wild's statistics, very good at progressive passes, progressive carries, so we want to get them two on the ball as much as possible. Really going to progress in build-up with this back three, but it ends up being like a two, what would it be? A 2-3... A 2-3-4-1 or a 2-3-5? I suppose a 2-3-5. That's what we generally call it, a 2-3-5. All right, let's now go and see how it's done at Brighton, how we're going to go through the tactic in terms of player roles and player positions and everything, and we'll see how it also looks in the match engine. I said the results have been pretty good. Right, so here we are in the FM save. I've done, 12 games? We've actually got a game in hand on the rest of the teams for some reason. I don't know why some of the games are that were like a week behind, but anyway, we've just lost to City. 1-0, we kind of didn't create much, but we've made a really good start to the season. Man City have played 13, won 10, drawn 3, so that's fine. We can deal with that. We're not trying to make OP tactics. I'm always happy when I create a tactic replication of this one of Fabien Hurzeler's that it does fine in the match, and as you build your squad, you will then, if we had a better squad than what Brighton currently have, they're a little bit short in a few areas, they're not as strong. People have given my boy Roberto De Zerbi a little bit of stick recently, and, they haven't had Lapati. They've obviously lost players such as Caicedo, Estepinan's been in and out, Mitoma's missed most of the season, Solly March has missed most of the season, so he's had a difficult run. All right, so there's definitely going to be areas that they need to strengthen. And however, I do think the squad fits quite well. And as you can see, we've won 7. We've also beaten in there the thread, the tweet that I put out earlier on. Absolutely did bang in terms of engagement, so thank you very much. Not as much as this tweet. I spent 2 hours doing the Fabien Hurzeler sort of like analysis on Twitter. It got a fair few likes. It was about 50 or 60 likes, I think it has. However, me just playing FM, this save, with Brighton, with a pizza and a beer, I managed to get over 4,000 likes. So, it shows what we're dealing with on Twitter. However, as you can see, it's done really well in terms of Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, really well. Draws, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Palace was disappointed. We couldn't break them down. And then 2 defeats away at Newcastle 1-0 and away at... and then at home to City. Defensively pretty good, only 13 goals conceded. Did have really good defensive numbers, St. Pauli, in terms of goals conceded. I think the best in Bundesliga 2 and in terms of shots faced. Okay, so this is what I've put together. As I said, Patreon's link down in the description if you want to get it. If you want to get it right now and shove it straight in your FM Tactics folder. However, I'm going to go through everything for you. So, sweeper keeper on attack, very important. Likes to get involved in build-up, in particular if the libero is going to move forward, very much gets involved in build-up. Brighton are going to be absolutely fine with Verbruggen and Steele in that position. Now, back 3, I've been rotating it round a little bit because we've had a couple of sort of Europa games and stuff. Dunk has actually done quite a decent job in there playing as a libero, but I do think they will need to strengthen playing with a back 3. Veltman could do it, yes. Dunk, Van Heck, yes. They've also got Igor, Webster, but I do think they may go out. If he's not going to probably copy the tactic like for like, but he may decide if Van Heck is not his man, he may then go down the route of potentially getting someone who can step into midfield. All right, so talking about the roles themselves, The two wide centre-backs, we both want them to be back quite progressive. They do like to do the Brighton thing at times where they hold on to the ball and try and bait a press, but it does also allow them to sweep balls. So with that, with the Brighton tactic, De Zerbi way, we kind of did central defenders and not wanting to take risks. However, that's not the case with these. So the two wide centre-backs, ball-playing defenders on defend, with the play instruction of dribble more, because we've got them numbers of the progressive carries. They're going to have the quality you would expect. They'll probably bring in another ball-playing defender, someone that can carry the ball in particular because of the movements of the 2-8s and 2-6s or 2-8s. They're moving into high areas. There's going to be hopefully a lot of space if they can get past the first line, maybe get a 3v2 in to then progress the play, and one of them may be able to carry into areas. So two ball-playing defenders on defend, both with dribble more on. Libero, we've got defend. Now, we're not needing anything absolutely exceptional. I'm absolutely loving the role. I am starting a new Let's Play series on the channel called Saving Santos, and I want to do a back three, and I keep changing my mind because I want to play with an F9, but I do think that we're going to be looking at using a libero in that team and just on defend, because I just love how it picks into areas, often stands in front of what I'd hate to see is an FM when you have like three central defenders. If I put him on ball player and defend on cover and then had their one striker, balls cleared out, I guarantee their striker's always going to get there first, and that wouldn't be the thing. You would expect the defender to sort of like at least one of the defenders to stand in front and kind of be a bit of a sort of like a cover shadow for him. So I really like how he steps in. Any balls cleared out, it doesn't sometimes ventures into the edge of the area, has a couple of digs, but generally in rest defence is a really good position, and he has no additional player instructions. Now, both wing-backs are just wing-backs on support. They don't have crazy attacking numbers. One of the left-hand side isn't as great for St. Pauli as what it is on the right. They've got a Greek player, is it Salinakas? Something like that. Butchered it probably. But the right back, definitely better going forward. But I've just because of what we've got in front of us, and also obviously the attacking positions, with the 2-8 moving out, I'm a little bit worried that if the 8 move out and then the wing-backs go high, the back three are going to be left a little bit exposed and maybe struggle to help him build up. So I've just got them both on support so we can help progress the ball up the pitch a little bit more. Right, double pivot. I said, this is your starting team without the ball. Okay, so without the ball, this is how your team sets up. And Hurzeler likes to have the 2-8s or the 2-6s get back in to make a double pivot. So I started with all sorts with Pascal Gross. Now, he does suit the Hurzeler role really clever because he's so good on the ball, good from penalties, free kicks. He kind of really does have a liking to Hurzeler, who is the talisman at St. Pauli this season. So we went register. I couldn't get the movements of DM and moving forward enough. The register was dropping in too much. The double volante didn't work because of the heat map. It was kind of getting wide. I think with a volante, you can't stay wider. So I've had to do it like this, and it has actually worked extremely well. Now, Pascal Gross, and I'll show you a clip at the end, does still come into position. However, not very often, and does like to get further up the pitch. And as you can see with the heat map here, the one against Copenhagen, we've just smashed them in the Europa League. Two nice high positions. We've even got that with the Volante. And as you can see, the 4-1 win of Man United at the start of the season, just drifting into that left space a little bit wider than what you would get with the right-sided midfielder. So with that, we've gone Mazzala on attack with him with more direct passes. Loves a cross, loves to be a creator, wants to be the chief man in the final third, so we've got more direct passes for him. And then Baleba, now he's actually really well suited to it. I was thinking, they're going to need a Volante for this, but I didn't realise Baleba was 6 foot. They've also got Modder. I don't know if Modder is up to the standard of Brighton. Brighton fans, by all means, let me know. He's still at a decent age. Has he been out on loan? Or I don't think he played much last season, right? But 6'2", he's kind of got the profile with it. Whether he's got the quality is another thing. So they may want to strengthen in that area. But Baleba is potentially going to be a tremendous volante for them, and he's scored a number of goals. He's had a really good start for me. Average rating of 7.12. 6 goals already in 16 games is really impressive from a volante. So we've gone volante on attack. So helps in here in build-up. We'll show you a little clip about that in a minute. But then also we want him getting in the area and scoring some goals. Okay, so we're going to bring it back. We've got build-up. Where is Baleba? So there he is. As you can see, in build-up, a little bit deeper. Just remember that Jackson Irvine heat map where he was strong in defensive areas in terms of being busy, and then that penalty area to finish. So let's just play it through. He's going to score a goal. And as you can see, once he realises that he's not going to help him build up, he just moves away. Often the pass will go into him and he'll play and he'll help with build-up. But once the ball has then been moved into a different area, he's then moving up. And as you can see, he's in that attacking third. Now gets on the ball, plays it off, and now he's spinning off once again, getting into the area. Classic number 8, late run, and he taps it home. So that's what we're wanting from Volante on attack, and it does it extremely well. Definitely something I'm going to put into my Santos team. I think my Santos tactic is basically going to be a variation of this. So there you go. Volante on attack, no player instructions for. 2 wide players. Mitoma will suit the left-hand side tremendously well. They've got a player called Sad at St. Pauli. Had a really good season. Likes to drift in. Likes to get in behind because we've got that DLF. So we've got Mitoma on inverted winger on attack. No player instructions. Right-hand side, maybe something they may need to do a little business in because maybe you want João Pedro to play there as a striker. They've obviously got Solly March that can do a little bit. But if I was strengthening this season, I would potentially go centre-back, right wing, and maybe a central midfielder. Maybe someone just to help out Pascal Gross in there. Let me know your thoughts, Brighton fans, down in the comments. But we've gone João Pedro, wing on attack. It's that Afolayan at St. Pauli. Stay nice and ride, wing on attack, no player instructions. And then the DLF will suit Ferguson pretty well, will suit Welbeck, will suit João Pedro. DLF on support because he's going to drop in, link play, allow the 2 wide players to get in behind as well. Okay, team instructions, positive mentality, wide attacking width, focus down the left and the right. If we look at their passing numbers for the season, their focus of attacks, very much looking at the ball getting out wide when we've got those overloads in with the wing backs helping the 2 wider players. We've also got the Hurzeler roll, that Mazzala roll rolling out there. And remember those touches in build-up for St. Pauli with the 260s, very, very low. So it makes sense to keep the ball out wide. Play out from the back, yes, with those ball-playing defenders. Shorter passing so we can get those possession numbers up. Slightly higher tempo. Play for set pieces. Watched all of their goals, St. Pauli's goals, in a YouTube video from last season. I will put that link down in the description as well, so you can go check that out. Do score a lot of goals from set pieces. I think because he's come from the lower leagues and built himself up, I think when I've read and watched a couple of videos, they've kind of said that's kind of based on the marginal gains that he can get, and been really set piece focused is really important. So that's why we've got that on. In transition, counter press. Yes, there's a huge thing on counter-pressing, which is not pressing, it's counter-pressing. So when the ball goes, when he's lost, they do try and win it. Countering, no, because of a little statistic. I can't remember what statistic it is, but I will put it on screen for you right now. Bing. There you go. Just shows you where they are ranked in the division for counter-pressing. It was either counter-pressing goals or attacks or something like goals from counter-attacks, something like that. It's on the screen right now. So that's why I've taken that off. Distribute the centre-backs. Yes, we build up from the back when we can. However, I have been frustrated with the goalie. I think because the sweeper keeper doesn't do what we want it to do. I want my sweeper keeper to split the 2 centre-halves. He does it occasionally, but the sweeper keeper on attack generally means he's just going to take more risks. I do honestly think they need to change the role of the sweeper keeper a little bit, because the sweeper keeper on attack, I don't want him to kick it long. I don't want him to do that. They will do it occasionally, but I just want him to play a shot. But I want him to be brave enough to play and act as a little bit of a sweeper. So something maybe FM25, maybe a nice little positional change feature would be good. So just be aware of that. You might even need to put that on support if your keeper is going too long. Out of possession, mid-block, they like to get that 5-4-1 when they can with the 2 wingers and sitting in to make a 4 with the 2-8. Obviously, they've got the back 5 in, the fullbacks drop in, and then they're waiting. Their counter press is not, their pressing trigger is normally a centre back when a centre back gets the ball. However, they normally don't do it until there's a little bit of space in behind. They don't go and press the centre half if it's in around the area. So I haven't really altered the opposition instructions. I've left that blank. Trap outside, get nice and narrow, nice and compact, and then they press when that ball comes into that third. And it gives us the options with the 2 wide players on attack. Gives us a couple of options in terms of breaking when we can. However, we aren't going to do it every single time because we haven't got that counter-attack button ticked. Okay, that is the Hurzeler 3-4-3. Here's a few little clips. So right from the kickoff, you can see straight away, look, if I pause it, we're already immediately go to this back two. So Dunk, he's playing as the libero. He's stepping in to be a pivot. We've got Gross and Baleba. Baleba as that Volante, Gross as the Mazzara on attack, and they're already moving into advanced areas. And Dunk is acting as the pivot. And if we just run it on, Baleba actually comes in, then it'll make a forward run at some point. Dunk, the pivot, is always an option, look. And we just move it nicely. Now Baleba's moved on. So in build-up, Baleba, the Volante, will drop in, even though he's on attack. And then when the ball is kind of shifted away, he will then look to push into sort of like the attacking third. So Dunk on it, really comfortable in possession. You do need someone who's going to be really comfortable in possession. Matona cross, and then Welbeck heads in. But that was just a really clear way of showing the movement of Dunk as the libero. And then it's very important to look at rest defence. And, you know, it's very much what Manchester United struggle with at the moment, with sort of like the 2-8s firing off and leaving this huge hole and leaving the centre-backs exposed. But because we've got three, just watch what Dunk does. Now, he is on defend, and we do actually end up scoring, but we're just going to keep our eye on Dunk, look. So right now, if we pause it, he's in a superb... If there's a block, if there's a headed-out clearance, he's going to pick it up. We've got a 2v1 here. We're potentially even maybe cutting out maybe a pass into his feet or a clearance into his feet with the position of Dunk. He doesn't get it, but he's just in a really good area. So we get a little bit of luck, but a really good position from Dunk in that rest defence, moving into a number 6 position. And the next one is just a little bit of a build-up, and we end up scoring again. And it's the role of Gross. So we said that we didn't want him to come in deep. That's why I got him as a Mazzala, but he will do it at times. And we're just going to watch him. So he's staying pretty high, not really getting involved in it. Then he drops in, and we play. And now we've got a little bit of an overload down this left-hand side because we've allowed the ball go into Gross. Estepinian on the left is the wing-back, and Matoma will work together. Like, I haven't got complete wing-back on. I haven't got underlaps on. However, he makes a great underlapping run. He's in. To be fair, it's a brilliant strike. And Gross ends up getting the assist for that. And as you can see, the game against Manchester United, we'll watch some of the goals and see if we can find anything. One's a pen, but we've absolutely dominated the game, which people on Twitter seemed to like yesterday. So we've won the ball into Gross in a nice high area. Like, look how we're set up. Really good position, I think, for rest defence. We've got a 2v1 there. We've got Van Heck, who can then jump onto a Bruno Fernandes if needed. We've got the 2-8s, Baleba and Gross, really high. Suck their players in. They've come in. There is Wan-Bissaka in the right back, coming in really narrow because of the movement of Gross. I think because he's been a threat, he's coming really narrow. He gets sucked towards the ball, maybe too much, and then it leaves Matoma free on that left-hand side to absolutely come in and shift it onto his right foot and finish brilliantly. And then what we're going to get, Van Heck playing as a libero. We get an overload in. Anthony's been caught out of position, obviously because you're playing with a wing-back playing a little bit higher. He does get forward a little bit quicker, and as you can see, we've now got a really big overload on this left hand side. Van Eyck picks it out, libero and defend, really good starting position as well. He could have shifted it out to the right as well with Lamptey, been a little bit of a support option. He goes this side because we've got a 2v1. We work it really well. Matoma comes in, a little bit of luck with the rebound from João Pedro, and I think it's Matoma again gets on the score sheet. Little run in behind now, inside inverted winger on attack, obviously looking to break any lines. We get that little bit of movement, probably from Welbeck as well, do we? Let's see what Welbeck does. So holding his run. The defender's now Maguire's now keeping an eye on Welbeck, look. And what it does is just creates that little bit of space, because Welbeck's held his run, creates that space for Matoma to go into, and he's in, and he finishes really well. He will suit this team. Fabien Hurzeler's 3-4-3, Matoma, João Pedro, Pascal Gross, Baleba, Estepinian. It is nearly there. It is nearly there already. A couple of really smart signings at centre-back, as I said. Probably, maybe even a right wing-back if you're not fancying Solly March, and maybe Tariq Lamptey, who can't stay fit, because Veltman will come in to make more of a back three. Yeah, get a centre-back in, maybe a midfielder, right midfielder, and you're ready to go. All right, guys. Adringa, maybe? Could Adringa do the right midfield role? I don't know. You've got to sign someone, right, Brighton? You've made all that money. It's time to maybe sign a couple of really nice players. All right, guys. Check out the Patreon. I hope you've enjoyed it. Santos series coming very soon. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you later.